Grandma grabs my hand at the market and uncovers a shocking secret about my daughter-in-law. The autumn sun streamed through a canopy of orange and gold leaves, illuminating the bustling farmer's market where laughter, chatter, and the vibrant aromas of fresh produce mixed in the brisk air. Families strolled past stalls brimming with plump pumpkins and crisp apples, their laughter blending with the cheerful shouts of vendors. Baskets overflowed with colorful vegetables, while the sweet scent of cinnamon lingered, promising warm pastries fresh from the oven. Everything felt perfect, until my world tilted on its axis. Elena was lost in her usual routine, weaving through the crowd with her favorite reusable bag slung over her shoulder when Grandma Ruth suddenly materialized by her side. The older woman's ashy hair framed a face that usually radiated warmth, but today her eyes held a scorn. "Elena, come here," she urged, gripping my hand with a force I wasn't prepared for. Her grip tightened, sending a shiver down my spine. I felt every heartbeat echoing like thunder in my ears. "What is it, Grandma?" I asked, glancing around at the happy faces bustling nearby, blissfully unaware of my growing dread. With a glance so sharp it could cut through flesh, Grandma pulled me to a quieter corner, away from the stalls. "It's about Sophie." Her voice dropped to a whisper, but the urgency behind her words sliced through the lively atmosphere. "There's something you need to know. Something she's hiding." The word hiding echoed ominously in my mind as I fought to maintain my composure. The vivid sights and sounds of the market faded into an eerie backdrop. I had always admired Sophie, a sweet, vibrant addition to our family. How could there possibly be something shrouded in shadow? My heart raced as she continued, each word igniting a fire of suspicion within me. "There's a past she hasn't shared, a truth buried deep." Around us, laughter erupted as children chased after each other, but every cheerful sound twisted into something malevolent as uncertainty clawed at my chest. What could Sophie have done? My mind scrambled through memories of her gentle smile, the way she had effortlessly blended into our family. The pumpkins seemed to mock my confusion, their vibrant color contrasting sharply with the dark veil of dread now draping over me. Grandma's brows knit together, her hands trembling slightly. "You have to ask her, Elena. You can't ignore it." The weight of her words pulled in my stomach. Confront her? Betrayal, confusion, and anger swirled in my mind. The vibrant market around me felt like a thin veneer covering the truth. Everything I had known teetering on the edge of revelation. But what if Sophie's secret was too heavy to bear? Would it shatter the fragile happiness we had built? Each worried thought wrapped around my heart, squeezing tight. Around us, the world continued on, unaware of the tempest brewing just beneath the surface. How far would I go to uncover the truth? As the leaves rustled overhead, a new question lodged firmly in my mind. Could the bond of family withstand the weight of hidden darkness? Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And since you're here, smash that like button because it really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact! The lively market buzzed around me, but my heart drummed with anxiety. I stared at Grandma's weathered face, searching for reassurance that never came. "What do you mean, hiding?" I pressed, urgency spilling over in my voice. Grandma's grip didn't loosen. "Just listen, Elena. It's more complicated than you think. Sophie isn't who you believe her to be." Before I could process her words, a loud crash echoed through the market. A stall toppled over, its contents spilling across the ground, causing a wave of panic. My head snapped toward the chaos, but my focus remained tethered to Grandma. The world around us blurred. More shouts erupted, and then I heard it, a thud, followed by a piercing scream. My stomach dropped. I turned in time to see a young girl, no older than 8, lying on the ground. A frantic crowd gathered, gasping and murmuring. "Stay with me, Elena." Grandma's voice cut through the noise, but my attention was slipping away. I wanted to help. I fought the urge to run toward the girl, my mind riddled with unease. "He's coming for her," someone shouted, panic escalating. What did that mean? The onlookers surged like a tide, leaving chaos in their wake. "Who's coming?" I whispered, heart racing. I was barely aware of Grandma's urging as I pushed through the crowd. Then I saw him. A tall man with wild hair and piercing eyes, panic in his expression. He struggled against the hold of the 2 men who had apprehended him. "That's him! That's the one!" someone yelled, pointing directly at me. My heart jumped to my throat. In the blink of an eye, everything shifted. The man's focus locked onto me, his eyes wide with fear. Desperation etched in his features. "Help me, she's in danger, you have to understand." I froze. His frantic plea sent chills racing up my spine. My instinct screamed to run, but something rooted me there. "What do you mean?" I managed, trying to decipher his meaning while the crowd gasped. "Don't let her control you," he shouted before the men dragged him away. The words tumbled around my mind like rocks in a stream. Control? What was happening? I felt Grandma's hand tremble as she stepped closer. "Elena, we need to go," she urged. But I couldn't move. A sense of dread settled in my gut. Sophie had been hiding something, but this was bigger than her past. As the crowd surged and chaos swirled, I could only piece together fragments of stunned faces and panicked whispers. "Is she safe?" I called, suddenly desperate. The little girl still lay on, beground, the atmosphere thick with fear. I didn't understand what was happening, but the urgency was palpable. "Stay away from her," a voice cut through. But it wasn't aimed at Sophie. It was aimed at me. "You're one of them!" The world tilted again. The market, once a joyful retreat, transformed into a carnival of suspicion. My heart pounded, breath caught in my throat. What did they know? What was Sophie hiding? Grandma pulled me by the arm, trying to lead me away. But something inside me raced to uncover the truth. "Everything is connected," the man's voice echoed in my mind, drowning out the chaos. I turned back to see the girl finally stirring, eyes wide and filled with fear. "Help me," she gasped, and in that moment, I felt the ground shift beneath me. Everything was changing. How deeply were Sophie and the stranger entwined? I wanted answers, but with each question, the mystery grew darker. As I clutched Grandma's hand, the question loomed in my mind. Could I truly handle what lay beneath the surface? Elena's heart raced. The chaos of the market swelled around her, but her eyes remained glued to the little girl, still gasping for help. A shadow flickered in the crowd, drawing her attention back to the tall man being dragged away. Panic washed over her. "What do you mean, help her? Who's coming?" she shouted, her voice desperately cutting through the mayhem. The man's frantic face twisted in anguish, words spilling from his lips like water from a shattered dam. "You have to understand, she's an—" But before he could finish, the crowd surged again, swallowing him whole. Elena felt Grandma's grip tighten. "We can't stay here. We need to." Suddenly the little girl's eyes locked onto Elena's, wide and pleading, as if she knew something no one else did. "Please, I can't breathe." The words hung in the air, heavy with urgency. Elena's chest tightened, her resolve crystallizing. She took a step toward the girl. "I'm coming! Hold on!" The crowd pushed against her, a human wave of confusion and fear. She pushed back, her heart thumping, louder than the chaos. She had to help. But just as she reached out, a loud crash rang out nearby, sharp and jarring. A tent snapped as a gust of wind swept through the market, sending pumpkins tumbling. Screams erupted again. The once cheery vendors were now frantic, scrambling for stability amid the chaos. Elena looked back at Grandma, who had paled, her hands shaking in a way Elena had never seen before. "We need—" Grandma started, but never finished. A flash of movement stole her focus, and then it happened. The dirt beneath their feet trembled, a pulse coursing through the ground. Elena stumbled, and a low rumble echoed through the air. Panic surged as people froze. "What's happening?" she gasped. The ground split open with a hissing sound, a rift forming like a jagged wound. Tension crackled in the atmosphere. People choked back as if struck. And there it was, a glimmer of something shining in the dark space below. Elena felt the air leave her lungs. "What is that?" She couldn't look away. The light pulsed, almost alive, beckoning. Then the little girl cried out again. "Help!" Her voice pierced through the tumult. Desperation clawed at Elena, urging her to move. She turned toward the girl, ready to dive into the fray. And that's when she heard it. A whisper, a chilling voice drifted through the chaos. But it wasn't coming from the crowd. It echoed from the rift, powerful and sinister. Elena. Her name twisted in the air, curling around her senses. It was a voice she recognized, though she couldn't place it. What? She stumbled backward, light spilling from the crack and illuminating everyone around her. The expressions of disbelief and horror lit up their faces. Grandma squeezed her hand, eyes wide, as if she too had heard the call. No, it can't be. The world blurred, and in that moment, a figure emerged from the light. A woman with striking features, familiar but twisted. "Sophie!" Elena gasped, every muscle tensing. But it wasn't Sophie. The woman smiled, revealing sharp teeth. "I've waited a long time for this, Elena." Time stood still. Shock pulsed through her body. "What are you talking about? Who are you?" "No more secrets," the woman said, stepping closer, her presence commanding. She reached toward the rift, and the light intensified. "It's time to reveal everything." The crowd gasped as the very ground shook again, pulling them closer to the rift. Like gravity had changed its mind. Elena's heart raced with fear and confusion, sharp enough to taste. As the rift widened, the woman turned and extended her hand toward Sophie, who was moving through the crowd like a ghost, lost and terrified. "You've played your part well, But it's time to come home. Elena's pulse thundered in her ears, to whisper more secrets than she could bear. "Don't!" she screamed, torn between her need to protect and the overwhelming urge to understand. Just then, Sophie looked up, and their eyes met. In that second, everything shifted. The woman's voice surged. "They don't know what you've done." The crowd held its breath. Fear wrapped its fingers around Elena's heart. What had Sophie done? An answer loomed just out of reach. And the light surged one last time. Elena knew the revelation about to unfold would change everything. Would their family survive this? Or was the truth too much to bear? Elena's heart raced. The chaos of the market swelled around her, but her eyes were glued too. The little girl, still gasping for help, desperation clawed at her, urging her to act. Through the uproar, she heard the woman's voice again, dark and beckoning. It's time to reveal everything. Her blood ran cold. "Stop!" Elena cried, her voice slicing through the noise. She took a step forward, heart pounding, feeling Grandma's grip tighten on her arm. The air buzzed with electricity as the rift widened, and everyone held their breath. Sophie stood frozen, her face pale, caught between the woman and the swirling panic of the market. "Elena!" she shouted, panic making her voice tremble. "Don't trust her!" The words crashed into Elena, hard and confusing. "What do you mean?" she shouted back. But before Sophie could respond, the ground shook again. The light from the rift pulsed, stronger and brighter. The woman grinned, a chilling smile, and extended her hand towards Sophie. "You belong to me." "No!" Sophie's voice broke, and something in her eyes shattered as she faced the truth. "I didn't mean for you to find out." The market erupted in chaos. People moaned in fear, and someone screamed as a pumpkin rolled between their feet. Grandma pulled Elena closer, urgency in her grip. "We need to go! Help me!" cried the little girl on the ground, her small body trembling. But Elena was trapped between confusion and dread. The rift surged again, and in that moment, everything shifted, splitting like the earth beneath them. Confusion clouded her mind as the woman's words echoed, laced with a power that felt undeniable. "You'll understand soon enough, Elena. She isn't what you think she is." What did that mean? Elena's heart pounded in her chest. "Listen to her!" Grandma shouted, shaking Elena slightly as if to break the spell. "We have to get out of here." "No, I can't leave her!" Elena shouted back. The little girl was looking at her with wide, terrified eyes. The woman's voice grew louder, drowning out everything. "No more secrets, Sophie. You thought you could hide, but your time is up." Sophie stumbled back, as if struck. "You're lying. You don't know me." "I know you better than you know yourself," the woman hissed, eyes glowing. Elena's breath caught in her throat as she began to connect dots that shouldn't exist. "What are you hiding, Sophie? What does any of this mean?" Suddenly, the rift exploded with light, sending a shockwave through the crowd that sent people sprawling. And as it did, the woman's expression morphed, revealing something familiar, a face Elena had seen before in fleeting memories and old photographs. The recognition hit like a punch. "No," she whispered, eyes wide. "It can't be." The woman's eyes fixed on Elena with a knowing glint. "And as for you, dear cousin, welcome to the family legacy." A muffled gasp rippled through the crowd. "Cousin?" echoed someone nearby, disbelief hanging thick in the air. Elena's mind spun. Sophie had never mentioned this. The implications rattled her like an earthquake, scattering her thoughts. What did it mean? Sophie's eyes locked onto hers, a mix of shock and pleading. Elena, please, you have to believe me. I didn't choose this. Didn't choose what? The words slipped out, frantic and desperate. The market spun, and everything felt like it was unraveling. Chaos wrapped around them. But inside, a storm was brewing that could drown everything they knew. She's not just a woman. She's... But before she could finish, another thrust of energy erupted from the rift, sending everyone stumbling. And the last glimpse Elena got was of the woman laughing. Ah. Stony laugh that echoed in her mind long after she lost sight of her. What was hidden? What was true? As the chaos swirled, one thought pierced through the noise. Was Sophie the enemy or the key to understanding what lay ahead? And with that, the ground shifted again, and darkness loomed, holding secrets too powerful to reveal just yet. What kind of legacy had they stumbled into? Elena's heart pounded in her chest. The chaos swirled around her. And all she could focus on was the little girl gasping for help, voice fading into the madness. Help me! It was raw, real. The world felt like it was breaking apart, chaos and fear wrapping around her like a storm. Elena, now! Grandma's voice sliced through the din, her grip tightening painfully. But Elena was rooted, her gaze fixed on Sophie, whose face was twisted in horror, eyes darting between the chilling woman and a growing darkness of the rift below them. You don't have to do this, Sophie shouted. You can choose. But her voice wavered, caught between fear and something deeper, something shattering. I'm not who you think I am, the woman snarled, her eyes glistening, revealing the truth lurking beneath. You've hidden your past, but I'm here to uncover it. In that moment, the rift pulsed violently, bright light spilling out. The ground trembled again underfoot, and a deep growl echoed like a beast awakening. Elena's chest tightened, every instinct screaming to flee, but her feet felt glued to the ground. Then, as the light erupted from the rift, it struck her, a memory flickering into life. It wrapped around her mind like an old, forgotten song, a family gathering, laughter, a woman with the same eyes as the one before her. Wait, she whispered, realization smashing through her like a tidal wave. You're related to us? The eerie woman stepped closer, the smile fading, replaced by a fierce glare. I'm not just related. I'm your mother, and it's time to embrace who you really are. Elena staggered back. No, that's impossible! Disbelief churned in her stomach, nausea rising as voices of the crowd faded into a muffled hum around her. You died. I saw. The woman laughed, a harsh sound that chilled Elena to the bone. That's what they want you to believe. But they didn't know, did they? I never left. I was only waiting. Sophie looked like she'd been struck by lightning, eyes wide with confusion and fear. Elena, what's happening? But before Elena could answer, the ground surged again, and a wall of light exploded outward, pushing everyone back. Cries filled the air as people stumbled, gripping each other for balance. In that chaos, amid the confusion and fear, the little girl's scream cut through. Help me! Elena's resolve sharpened like a blade. With one last glance at the woman, who claimed to be her mother, she pushed through the mass of bodies. I'm coming, she yelled, her voice cracking with urgency. But as she reached for the girl, everything changed. The woman lifted her hand, and a scream erupted from deep within, sharp and surreal. The air thickened, swirling around Elena like a fog. Everything blazed bright, and suddenly the little girl was gone. Where she had been standing, there was only a shimmering haze. "What did you do?" Elena gasped, panic surging through her. "Where is she?" The crowd fell silent, the tension palpable. The woman smirked, something dark lurking behind that smile. "She'll be back, but only when the time is right." Elena's mind spun, desperately, trying to grasp the gravity of the words. "Why?" Grandma shouted, fighting through the crowd as fear gripped her. "What do you want with our family?" The woman took a step back, her laughter echoing, sending chills down Elena's spine. "The legacy isn't just about blood. It's what's hidden in the shadows. Secrets you thought buried but are rising now." Elena stood frozen. Nothing made sense. Who were they really? What had she stumbled into? The rift throbbed with energy. A reminder of the unknown waiting to explode. But it was the small, cracking voices of the crowd that echoed louder. Rambling whispers swirling. "She's lying. This can't be real. What kind of game is this?" And as the light faded momentarily, Elena's eyes landed on Sophie, a realization sinking in. Whatever bond they once shared was slipping like sand between their fingers. There was so much left unsaid, so many layers just waiting to peel back. Then, in the blink of an eye, a loud bang shattered the silence, followed by the unmistakable sound of something breaking. Footsteps thundered, and before Elena could react, a group of armed figures burst into the market, their faces obscured by dark masks. "Get down!" a voice roared. Panic surged anew. The laughter of the woman evaporated, replaced by shock and fear as everyone scrambled for safety. What was happening? Who were they? As the market erupted into unimaginable chaos, one thought screamed at Elena. Everything she knew was shattered. The shadows of secrets loomed ahead, dark and threatening. And she realized that finding the truth would mean facing not just those hidden in the darkness, but her own blood. Would she have the courage to confront what awaited her? Elena staggered backward, heart pounding, the world spinning around her. The chaos of the market, the screams, the booming voice of the masked figures all blurred into a whirlpool of confusion. The woman, this stranger claiming to be her mother, stood there, her expression a mix of triumph and malice. "Get down!" yelled one of the armed men, positioning himself protectively in front of the crowd. Panic flooded the scene. The noise of shoving bodies and frantic cries made it hard to breathe. Elena felt as though the ground was giving way beneath her. "What's happening?" she shouted, trying to locate Sophie through the crowd. Desperation seeped into her voice. "Where is she?" The woman with the sharp smile took a step forward, her authority overpowering the chaos. "All your questions will be answered soon enough," she proclaimed, arms stretching wide as if to embrace the very moment. The light from the rift flickered ominously behind her, casting long shadows that twisted along the pavement like dark fingers. "Let me go!" Sophie's voice sliced through the chaos. She was struggling, but against who? Her eyes darted between Elena and that horrific woman pleading for understanding. "Elena, please! You can't trust her! But the demand was drowned out by the chaos swarming around them. As people pushed to escape, a terrifying scream pierced the air. The little girl who had needed help was now gone, vanished as if she had never existed. "Enough of this!" the woman snapped, her eyes blazing. And suddenly the rift roared to life. A massive surge of energy erupted, sending people sprawling. It felt like time itself was breaking apart, and in that moment, Elena felt a raw, primal fear swell inside her. And then it happened. With a blinding flash, the ground beneath her erupted, and from the rift, a figure surged upward, a silhouette. Emerged, glowing with a strange light that surrounded it like a halo. The crowd fell silent, mouths agape as eyes turned toward the apparition. Elena's heart dropped. The figure took shape, revealing a young girl, no older than 9, dressed in white, ethereal, radiant. "Help me!" she called, voice echoing like a wind chime in the still air. "What? Who are you?" Elena stammered, horror creeping in. But it was the woman who answered. "Finally, she's here. My sweet little sister." Elena blinked, a vice grip clenching around her heart. "Sister?" The word floated in the air. "Much!" she cooed, stepping closer. Shadows flickered about her like alive strands, wrapping around her in an eerie embrace. "No, that can't be true!" Elena gasped, taking a step back. "You're not—" "Yes, I am!" the girl insisted, voice shimmering with sweetness and a hint of malevolence. "You abandoned me!" "What do you mean?" Elena cried, scrambling to make sense of the madness. Her mind raced as images flooded back, pictures from childhood, moments lost, echoes of laughter. The crowd shifted uneasily, whispering among themselves, fear rippling through the air like static electricity. The woman, the girl's mother, grinned, satisfaction written all over her face. "You see, dear Elena, the truth has a way of revealing itself. All along, you thought you were the one protecting your family. But you're the key to this legacy, and now the time has come." "Stop!" Grandma Ruth screamed, finally breaking free from the throng, her face pale and drawn. "You won't take her!" But it was too late. The little girl unleashed a burst of light that engulfed the space around them, twisting reality, pulling everyone into its brilliance. As a blinding wave surged over her, Elena's world faded away into that light. Time lost meaning, and as she felt herself swept into the void, the last thing she heard was her grandmother's voice, breaking through the chaos. "Elena, stay with me!" Then, silence. And in that silence, a chilling realization washed over her. Everything she thought she knew was just the beginning, for what awaited them on the other side was a truth darker than shadows. A legacy intertwined with unimaginable pain. What was truly lurking in the dark? And could any of them, survive what lay ahead? The moment swallowed her whole. Light swallowed everything. The noise, the chaos, the shouting. Elena felt weightless, her body caught in a current too strong to resist. Then, all at once, the light faded. She landed hard, impacting ground that felt both solid and soft. Dazed, she blinked. Around her, shadows danced. Confusion swirled in her mind, thick like fog. She was no longer in the market. "Where am I?" she gasped, the question echoing. She pushed herself up, heart racing, scanning her surroundings. It looked like a vast room. Ancient stones lined the walls, flickering torches casting eerie shadows. And then she saw them. The woman, the one who claimed to be her mother, stood across from her, and beside her was Grandma Ruth, looking wild and troubled, as if she had just run a marathon. They were fact, opposite sides of a table, the thick darkness between them pulsing like a living thing. "Welcome to the truth, Elena," the woman said, eyes glinting with a sinister light. "This is where it all began." "Enough with the games!" Grandma shouted, fists clenched. "You can't take her! She belongs with us!" Elena's mind raced. She turned to her grandmother. "What is she talking about? What is this place?" But a wave of laughter erupted from the woman. "Oh, dear Elena, you're the centerpiece in all of this. You're so very brave, but you don't know the half of it." The air thickened. With every heartbeat, she felt the grip of something dark wrapping around her chest. "What is happening? Where's Sophie?" she demanded, her voice trembling. The woman smiled, cruel and satisfied. "She's here, but not how you expect." Suddenly, the room shifted. The shadows lengthened, and then Sophie appeared, but she was different. Her eyes glowed with the same wicked light as the woman. "Elena." Her voice came out smooth and alluring, sending chills up Elena's spine. "What did you do to her?" Elena cried, feeling the world tilt. "Sophie, please fight this." "I don't want to fight," Sophie said, voice dripping with honey. "Don't you see? We're family now. We understand each other in ways you can't imagine." "What?" Confusion tangled with dread in Elena's gut. You're not like her." But the woman laughed again, sharp and mocking. "Oh, but she is. You just refuse to see the truth. You all do." "What truth?" Elena's chest tightened. "What are you hiding?" At that moment, the room shook. The walls trembled, as if something immense was awakening. And then, from the shadows, a figure emerged, cloaked in darkness. The breath caught in Elena's throat. "Mother," the figure spoke, and Elena felt a cold wave sweep over her. The voice was familiar, yet distorted, echoing like a lost memory. Sophie, the woman, her mother, stepped forward, her expression shifting from triumph to terror. "You shouldn't be here." But the figure laughed, deep and resonant, sending tremors through the space. "Too late for that, dear sister. It's time for the legacy to unfold." Elena's heart raced, clouds of realization darkening her thoughts. Suddenly, it clicked. The pieces began to fit like a puzzle she thought she lost. The family ties she never understood. The whispered secrets cloaked in shadows. "Legacy?" she breathed, the weight of the word crushing. "What are you saying?" The figure turned towards her, face obscured. "You think you are the key, don't you? But it's Sophie who carries the truth." Elena felt every muscle freeze. "No, I don't believe you." But doubt slackened her defenses. The urgency in Sophie's eyes flickered with something dangerous, something unknown. "It's all connected, Elena," she whispered. "You were never meant to be left behind." More pieces tumbled. The weight of betrayal landed like stones in her chest. "Once again," she murmured, "what's really happening?" It was then that the truth cut deeper than a knife, carving through the chaos gathering around them. Who were they really? And could the truth identify allies from enemies? Just as the tension reached its peak, the room exploded. In a wave of light, blinding and consuming. And in that moment, as darkness threatened to engulf them all, one last shocking revelation flickered in her mind. Every legend, every story she thought she knew was rewritten with the ink of deceit. What lay ahead? Would they break apart when faced with the truth? Or would they bind together to overcome the darkness? The moment swallowed her whole. Light consumed everything. The noise, the chaos, the shouting. Elena felt weightless. Her body caught in a current too strong to resist. Then, all at once, the light faded. She landed hard, a jolt of pain shooting up her legs. Dazed, she blinked. Around her, shadows twisted and churned. Confusion swirled in. Her mind thick as fog. She wasn't in the market anymore. "Where am I?" she gasped, the question barely escaping her lips. She pushed herself up, heart racing, scanning her surroundings. It looked like a vast stone chamber, ancient walls adorned with flickering torches casting eerie shadows. Suddenly she noticed the woman, the one who claimed to be her mother, standing across from her, a sinister smile curling her lips. Beside her, Grandma Ruth looked wild and haunted, as if she had just returned from the edge of despair. Tension crackled in the air like electricity. "Welcome to the truth, Elena," the woman purred, her voice smooth yet dripping with malice. "This is where everything began." "Enough with the games!" Grandma shouted, fists clenched, her resolve shaking. "You can't take her! She belongs with us!" Elena trembled, her mind racing. "What is this place?" Her voice came out like a whisper, fear clinging to every word. The woman laughed, a chilling sound that twisted Elena's gut. "Oh, dear Elena, you're the centerpiece of this play. You think it's just you and this charade?" Her eyes slid to Sophie, who stood not far away, caught in a web of confusion. "What did you do to her?" Elena cried, desperation clawing at her throat. "Sophie, please fight this!" "I don't want to fight." Sophie's voice was almost melodic, with an enchanting lilt that sent shivers down Elena's spine. "Don't you see? We're family now. We understand each other in ways you can't imagine." "What?" Elena's heart raced, confusion tangling with betrayal. "You're not like her!" But the woman's laughter echoed coldly, reverberating through the stone room like the muffled cries of trapped souls. "She is just like me, just as you are, part of this unraveling legacy." A tremor shot through the ground, and behind the woman, shadows deepened, coiling like smoke. Suddenly, another figure materialized from within the darkness, tall, cloaked, with eyes that glimmered a deep, familiar blue. Elena's breath hitched. "No, this couldn't be happening. Mother!" The figure spoke, the voice rich and resonant, yet laden with sorrow. Recognition crashed over her. "You left me to fend for myself." "No," she gasped, realizing in horror. "You're dead! I watched you die!" The figure stepped forward, shadows cascading off their cloak. "Not dead, my girl, merely hidden from you." Time froze, Elena's mind spinning. This wasn't just twisted. This was the horrifying truth. They were all part of a dark tapestry that wove deceit into every thread of their lives. "Is this a joke?" she whispered, eyes wide. "What's really happening?" The cloaked figure shifted, their face finally coming into view. It was someone she thought she had lost forever. "You were always stronger, Elena. But now it's time for you to choose." "Choose what?" Elena's voice trembled, reality bending around her. "What do you mean?" Who do you want to be? The figure whispered, hair unbound and wild. Will you join us or stand against the tide? The woman grinned, spiteful and proud. Embrace it, dear daughter. You belong with us now. This legacy is yours to command. Elena stumbled back, dread coursing through her veins. Everything she thought she knew spiraled into confusion. The shadows thickened, closing in. You can't be real! None of this is real! She cried, desperation clawing at her heart. But then something unexpected happened. A whirlwind of darkness erupted from the rift, consuming the room. The stone walls trembled, cracking under the pressure, and everything fell silent. In that suffocating hush, Elena felt a strange warmth envelop her, almost inviting. Pieces clicked in her mind like a jigsaw puzzle, shifting into place. The air thrummed, alive with energy. And then she realized something that twisted her stomach into knots. It wasn't just her family hiding secrets. It was herself. Deep within, something long buried began to awaken. Elena, the figure, her mother, urged softly, embrace your power. It's time to claim what's rightfully yours. The room exploded with light again, blinding and intense. But in that moment, a chilling revelation settled into her bones. Their family wasn't just bound by blood. They were woven through shadows, darkness, and a truth that threatened to swallow them whole. As the light faded, Elena stood at a precipice, breath hitching. Could she bear the weight of this legacy? Would she resist or fall into the abyss? And just like that, the world tilted again. Choices hung in the air, heavy as lead. What awaited her on the other side? The answers clawed at her heart, and one last thought echoed. Was she ready to confront the darkness within? Elena stood in the stone chamber, heart racing, breath coming in jagged gasps. The air was thick with tension, the shadows whispering secrets just out of reach. Her limbs felt heavy, as if the weight of what she was learning pressed down on her. The woman, her mother, loomed with a predatory light in her eyes, while Sophie stood, a ghost of the girl Elena once trusted. "What do you mean, embrace your power?" she stammered, struggling to wrap her mind around the chaos unfolding. The light from the rift flickered ominously, casting strange patterns that danced across the cold stone floor. "I've waited so long for you to wake up to this, Elena," the woman purred, stepping closer, her voice like silk brushing over a blade. "This family has been in hiding. You belong here, with us." "No!" Grandma Ruth bellowed, stepping protectively in front of Elena, her eyes darting like a trapped animal. "You can't take her! We've fought too long to keep her safe!" Elena felt torn, panic swelling in her chest. But the figure, the one claiming to know her, stepped forward, cloaked. "In shadows, Mother," the figure murmured, an edge of hurt in their voice. "Why did you hide her from me? Why didn't you tell me I had a sister?" Elena's heart skipped. "A sister?" She looked back and forth, feeling sick. "What are you saying?" She wanted to scream, to deny this madness, but fear locked her voice in place. The woman's smirk deepened, revealing a cruel satisfaction. "Your sister is a part of you, Elena. All this time, you thought you were hiding from us. But it's you who has denied your true nature. You think you're protected in your ignorance." She laughed, a shrill sound cutting through the tension. "Stop," Elena cried, wanting to shatter the darkness enveloping her. But the echoes called back louder, drowning her words. Her gaze snapped to the figure, desperate for truth. "Are you really my sister?" The figure tilted their head, eyes shimmering with a depth that sent shivers through her. "I am what you made me, and just like you, I will become what I'm destined to be." Then the ground shook violently, the stones beneath them vibrating. Energy pulsed like a heartbeat, building a crescendo that terrified every person in the room. Torches flickered and dimmed, painting faces in shades of fear. "I can harness it!" the cloaked figure shouted over the roar, raising their hands. Shadows surged, swirling like a storm around them. "It is time for our legacy to rise." With that, the shadows shot up, engulfing the woman and the figure in a torrent of darkness. The air thickened, and Elena felt a surge of something powerful. It was intoxicating, wrapping around her like a wave. But then, the shadows pulled back, revealing the woman, her mother, changed. The woman's face twisted into a horrifying mask, her skin rippling, and she screamed, "No, I won't let you summon her." "Summon who?" Grandma screamed, voice trembling. Elena watched in brightening horror. The shadows surged, and from the depths appeared a monstrous creature with twisted limbs and glowing eyes. Its presence sent chills through the air, primal and terrifying. "No!" Elena shouted, stumbling back. "What is that?" The creature roared, shaking the very foundation of the chamber. And in that deafening moment, she recognized its eyes. They were familiar, reflecting her own fear back at her. "It can't be," she whispered, piecing together fragments. "That's me?" The ground trembled, and the walls seemed to close in, the realization dawning like a dark cloud. How is this possible? Time slowed, shadows merging together, secrets unraveling. Her mother, the woman she barely knew, leaned closer, and Elena felt the overwhelming urge to flee. "You've been unleashed, Elena. This darkness was always inside you. It has been a fragile thread of hope." Or would she join the nightmare looming before her? What did it mean to embrace what was destined? And what horrors would she unleash in the process? Elena's heart thundered in her chest as the creature loomed closer, shadows swirling around it like a storm. "You belong to this darkness, Elena," her mother's voice echoed, thick with toxicity. "Embrace it and reclaim our legacy." "No!" Elena's voice rose above the chaos, charged with defiance. Deep inside, she felt a spark, a flicker of something she had buried too long. "I won't let it control me. I choose my own path." With every ounce of strength, she pushed against the shadows, focusing on the warmth. Deep within her, it wasn't just fear. It was courage, love, and the bond she shared with those who truly cared for her. Images of Grandma, Sophie, and even the little girl flashed through her mind. Faces lit with laughter or shrouded in concern. The creature hesitated, its form flickering as it strained against her will. "You think you can resist?" it growled, voice layered with threats. "Yes!" Elena shouted, feeling herself ignite with power. "I choose love over darkness. My family doesn't belong in the shadows." Suddenly, a pulse of light erupted from her core, radiating outward and washing over the room. The shadows recoiled, shrieking as the light consumed their darkness. "Together!" she cried, beckoning to Grandma. "And Sophie, join me. We can stand against this." The room trembled, that fierce bond rallying them as Grandma rushed forward, locking hands with Elena, a fierce protective energy igniting in her grip. Sophie stood tall beside them, her essence shimmering brightly. "I'm with you, Elena. No more secrets, no more hiding." As their hands joined, a force unleashed, engulfing the space, weaving together strands of light that began to pull at the creature, drawing it into the purity and warmth they exuded. "No!" it bellowed, thrashing, but the light only grew stronger, obliterating the shadows. "Leave her alone!" Grandma shouted, eyes fierce with determination, as they channeled their collective strength. The creature writhed, its hold unraveling, revealing the distorted truth of their family's legacy. Then, with one final flash, they hurled the darkness into the rift, the haunting echo of its screams fading into the void. The stone chamber began to brighten, and Elena felt the weight in her chest lift. "We did it," she gasped, breath mingling with disbelief and relief. Tears streamed down her face as she embraced her grandmother tightly. "I'm so proud of you, Elena," Grandma whispered, voice thick with emotion. "You found your light." Sophie approached, eyes shining with unshed tears. "I'm sorry for everything, for hiding, for not trusting you." Elena smiled through her tears, feeling the warmth of understanding blossom between them. "We'll figure things out together. No more secrets." As they stood in the now luminous chamber, the weight of generations faded away. They had rewritten their legacy, choosing compassion and connection over fear and darkness. They had reclaimed their family. But beyond the rift, Elena knew the darkness would always whisper, a reminder of the battle they had faced. Yet here, surrounded by love, she felt ready for whatever lay ahead. "I'm not afraid anymore," she said, uncertainty softening. "We'll face anything together." A light pulsed gently around them, a promise of hope. They were not just bound by blood. They were united in strength, love, and the courage to confront whatever challenges awaited them. As they took their first steps into a brighter future, Elena glanced back, embracing the weight of her past while carrying the light of her new beginning. And now, this is the moment to show your support. You have to subscribe right now to the channel so you don't miss any of the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button right now to feed the algorithm and send your love. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about this shocking ending. I want to hear all about it. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this ends. Real fans know how important it is to keep this community thriving. Let's do it together.